3:42 a.m., while London was still asleep and the palace believed the crisis was contained, Prince Harry was already running for his life. Not walking, not escorted, running. Across a restricted government airfield. No royal convoy, no protection detail. Just a frantic man sprinting under floodlights, eyes wide, breath ragged, chasing a private jet that had already begun to warm its engines. This was not a return to duty. This was not a quiet reconciliation. This was a full-blown escape. Less than 24 hours earlier, Harry had landed in Britain believing the nightmare was finally over. He believed the king had welcomed him back. He believed the truth he carried would set him free. He believed he had the upper hand. He was wrong. Because what happened behind closed doors at Clarence's house didn't heal old wounds. It ripped them open. Harry walked into that midnight meeting convinced he was bringing the ultimate weapon. The Rolodex. The D-Now results. The proof. He laid it all out, expecting shock, outrage, maybe even relief. He expected his brother to finally see what he had been living with. But William didn't react. No anger, no surprise, just a long, cold stare, the look of a man who already knew the ending. William didn't even touch Harry's evidence. Instead, he slid something across the table. Heavy, official, red. Not the king's box. An MI6 red box. And in that moment, Harry realized this wasn't a family conversation anymore. It was an intelligence briefing. "You think you know what she did?" William reportedly said, voice flat, surgical. "You think this is about money? Or lies?" That's amateur hour. Then William opened the box. What followed didn't feel like gossip. It felt like a threat assessment. A file compiled over 7 years. Communications, surveillance, financial trails, medical logs, digital footprints, a network mapped with the precision of a counter-terrorism operation. Meghan wasn't just vetted when she entered royal life, she was monitored. And buried inside the dossier was a section labeled with 2 words that froze Harry's blood. Medical intervention. This wasn't therapy. This wasn't wellness. This wasn't concern. It was chemistry. Emails between Meghan and a concierge doctor in Los Angeles. Not a psychiatrist. Not a therapist. A fixer. A man known in elite circles for managing high-value individuals who needed to be softened. The emails weren't about healing trauma. They were about compliance, dosages, timing, drug combinations designed to suppress resistance while keeping the subject functional enough to perform, supplements, powders, drops disguised as holistic care. Harry realized the fog he'd lived in, the memory gaps, the lethargy, the robotic repetition of her phrases, wasn't emotional damage. It was pharmaceutical. William slid another document forward. A toxicology report. A hair sample Harry had given during a routine medical check in London months earlier. Sedatives at levels that didn't happen by accident. Patterns that aligned perfectly with Harry's most disastrous moments. The interviews, the book tour, the court appearances. "She wasn't managing you," William said. "She was neutralizing you." Harry didn't sleep that night. But what truly broke him, what sent him running across that airfield hours later, came next. The liquidation protocol. Intercepted chatter. Dark web accounts. A sudden shift in tone across Meghan's network. With the walls closing in, legal pressure, leaks, investigations, she wasn't planning to fight. She was planning to disappear. And she wasn't going alone. William showed Harry a flight manifest already locked in. A private charter scheduled to leave Santa Barbara within hours. Passengers listed with chilling simplicity. Meghan, Archie, Lilibet. Destination, Paraguay. A jurisdiction where extradition gets lost in paperwork, where money buys silence, where the crown has no reach, where wealthy fugitives vanish behind gates and armed guards. "If you stay here," William told him, "you're safe." Then the sentence that detonated everything. "But if you stay here, you will never see your children again." Because once those children crossed that border, they were gone. No court, no order, no rescue. That meeting wasn't a reunion. It was a countdown. Harry understood in an instant that while he'd been in London playing lawyer, Meghan had been in California packing bags. While he thought the extraction was complete, she was executing her endgame. So at 3:42 a.m., Harry ran. The Gulfstream's door closed behind him. The jet lifted into the dark sky. No return address. Just a refueling stop in Iceland before racing west. On board, Harry stared at the toxicology charts on the plane's Wi-Fi, watching the spikes match the worst moments of his life. The rage came late. Thick, hot, and focused. He wasn't running from the truth. He was running toward a deadline. Back in California, suitcases were already lined up. Nannies were being told it was a holiday. SUVs were warming their engines. Security had gone silent, tight, professional. The extraction window was narrow. Harry's plane would land in Los Angeles with barely hours to spare. The children would be sedated. The jet to South America would lift off. And once it did, the story would be rewritten forever. This wasn't a custody dispute anymore. It was a hostage situation with geopolitical stakes. And Harry, stripped of fog, stripped of illusions, finally understood what he was up against. The man boarding that jet wasn't the spare. He wasn't the exile. He wasn't the broken prince. He was a father racing a clock that didn't care about titles. And somewhere in Montecito, Meghan believed she was about to vanish beyond reach. She had no idea he was already in the air. The Gulfstream touched down on American soil like a gunshot. No applause, no welcome, just urgency. Harry didn't wait for protocol. The moment the wheels stopped, he was already moving, grabbing the duffel, the MI6 dozy pressed to his chest like a life raft. A black Audi was waiting, engine running, windows dark, the only help Britain could legally give him on US ground. He slid inside and the car launched forward before the door fully shut. The clock had started. 3 hours. That was all he had between landing and the children being lifted, unconscious, into a private jet bound for a country where laws dissolve and fathers become ghosts. As the Audi tore down the freeway, Harry finally allowed the last layer of denial to peel away. This wasn't about image anymore. This wasn't about interviews or narratives or who leaked what. This was about a woman who had decided that if she couldn't control the story, she would erase the witnesses. And she wasn't improvising. The dossier detailed it all: shell companies, land purchases, security contracts, a compound buried deep in South America, high walls, private airstrip, independent water supply, a fortress masquerading as refuge, not a hideout, a citadel. Harry's hands tightened on the seat as he read the line that chilled him most: children listed as dependents, relocation irreversible. Once they crossed that border, no court could reach them. No plea would matter. They would grow up behind walls hearing one version of the truth, that their father abandoned them. The Audi surged past traffic, weaving through lanes with reckless precision. Harry didn't care. Every red light felt like betrayal. Every slowdown felt like failure. Then the phone buzzed. A number he didn't recognize. He answered anyway. A whisper came through the line, shaky, terrified. It was the nanny. "They took my passport," she said, barely audible. "They said they'd hurt my family if I talked. Sir, you have to hurry." Harry's stomach dropped. "Where are they?" he demanded. "Which car?" A pause, a muffled sound in the background, a door slamming, raised voices. Then the sentence that detonated what was left of his restraint. "She's giving them the travel juice, the same stuff she gave you, so they sleep on the plane." Harry felt something snap. "She's drugging them?" He shouted. The line went dead. The Audi roared forward, speed climbing into triple digits. Harry didn't see the black SUV until it was too late, pulling aggressively into his lane, matching speed, edging him toward the barrier. This wasn't security. This was interception. For a split second, history flickered in his mind. Tunnels, flashes, black cars pressing too close. But this time, he wasn't a child in the back seat. He was the driver. Harry swerved hard, metal screamed. Sparks flew as the Audi clipped the barrier. The SUV fishtailed, forced onto the shoulder. Harry didn't look back. He kept going, hard hammering, vision razor sharp, 40 minutes out, then 30, then 10. The gates came into view, barricaded, armored, nothing like the polite patrols of the past. Tactical vehicles. Men who didn't smile, men who weren't paid to care about optics. Harry didn't slow down. The impact was violent, bone-shaking. The Audi slammed into the barricade, tearing the gate free, spinning his security vehicle sideways. Airbags exploded, steam hissed. Harry kicked the door open and stumbled out, coughing, adrenaline drowning out pain. 4 men rushed him, weapons raised. "I am the Duke of Sussex," Harry roared, stepping forward instead of back. "If you fire, every intelligence agency on both sides of the Atlantic will end your careers and your freedom. Stand down." Silence. A calculation passed across their faces. This wasn't in their contract. This wasn't worth dying for. The weapons lowered. Harry ran. The house was chaos, luggage scattered, doors open, voices echoing. And there she was, standing in the foyer, trench coat on, satellite phone in hand. Shock flickered across her face. Real shock. Not the rehearsed kind. "You weren't supposed to make it," she said. "Where are my children?" Harry demanded. "They're safe," she said too quickly. "We're going on holiday. You're not well. You need your medicine." "I know about the medicine," Harry snapped. "I know about the doctor. I know about Paraguay." Her eyes darted to the stairs. Harry took them two at a time. The nursery was dark, curtains drawn, the air heavy with a sickly sweet chemical smell. Archie and Lilibet lay dressed for travel, shoes on, coats buttoned. They didn't move. Harry dropped to his knees, shaking Archie gently, whispering his name. No response, breathing shallow. The same with Lilibet. They weren't sleeping, they were sedated. Meghan appeared in the doorway, passports in hand. "You can come with us," she said, voice smooth again. "No press, no palace, just us." "There is no us," Harry said, lifting Lilibet into his arms. "There's you and the cell you're headed for." She blocked the door. "I'll scream," she warned. "I'll say you attacked me. I've planned for this." Harry looked at her, truly looked at her, and felt nothing but clarity. "Call them," he said calmly, "because I have the toxicology report, the nanny's testimony, and the king on speed dial." She hesitated. That was enough. Harry walked past her, carrying both children. Down the stairs, out the door, past the stunned security. He reached the street, stranded, exposed, nowhere to go. Then the sound came. Rotors. A black helicopter descended, dust whipping the road into chaos. A door slid open. A familiar face leaned out. "Sir, get in." Harry didn't ask questions. He handed the children over, climbed aboard, and as the helicopter lifted, he looked down. Meghan stood in the street, screaming, passports scattered at her feet. The extraction window had closed. In London, hours later, a jet touched down at a secure annex. The king was waiting. No ceremony, just an embrace. The children were rushed to doctors. The toxins flushed, the fog lifted. And back in California, as sirens finally echoed up the driveway, a woman who believed she was directing the story realized too late, you can't outrun evidence. You can't drug the truth. And you can't disappear with children who were never truly yours to take.